Hello, darlings. Welcome back to the channel. We're looking at the simplest spread, 3-card spread. How to do a 3-card tarot spread. We're using the Unveiled Tarot today. It's an interesting deck that has both the traditional meaning and an implied context within a small window in every card. That will help you to see the implied context in your reading. Now, what we're looking at today is a 3-card spread. The most simple spread in tarot, the one that's the most useful for situations, but I do it a little bit different than some. I do 3 cards, but instead of past, present, and future, I do the circumstance you're in right now, the new energy that comes in, the outcome as a result of that new energy. So a slight variation on that, okay? I'm going to shuffle one more time and cut the deck and show you what I mean and teach you how to put those cards together and read them together so that they tell a story. I'm assuming that you have some working knowledge of what the definitions of tarot cards are, and you can check this channel for definitions of every card in the deck, or I'm assuming you have a book or 3 or 12 or 50,000 right next to you, and that's also very good. I too have a book on tarot from a romantic perspective. You can find a link to it in the box below. Okay. As is tradition, some people knock. I don't, generally. And instead of just having cards pop out by shuffling vigorously, we're going to do a traditional shuffle, cut, and draw. I'm going to do 3 different samples of 3-card spreads and interpret them for you based on the cards themselves. There's both the card interpretation and your intuitive interpretation. And that can be influenced by what you just feel when you see those 3 cards together, or the symbology on the cards themselves. That's perfectly legit. If a card has a non-traditional bit of art or symbolism, look at it. There's traditional decks and non-traditional decks, and they're all valid. There are thousands of tarot decks. There are thousands of exquisite tarot decks. It's so fun. Tarot's so great. All right. We're going to get a sample spread here and read it based on what we see. The circumstances. Judgment. Needing to make a choice. Judgment is Gabriel blowing his horn and the dead rising into traditional imagery. But in tarot, it means, well, it means needing to trust your own judgment. It also means trusting yourself, right? Trusting your ability to make the right choice, having to make a choice in the first place. So, as a first card, nebulous, and yet the new energy that comes into play, the 2 of Swords, tricky. The 2 of Swords is a card of stalemate and stuck energy. And you'll notice there's some hostility behind her. Also, it's a card of emotional unavailability in a romantic context. This could mean so far, right? If I knew nothing. So here's an example of intuitive reading. Someone has just gone on a date and they're trying to see if they want to see them again. They're trying to decide if they want to even see them again. And that Judgment and 2 of Swords would suggest that they're coming across as somewhat cold and emotionally unavailable. Or maybe there's someone who says they want to date but doesn't come across as somebody who actually wants a relationship. That's the vibe of these 2 cards together. Page of Pentacles. Interesting. Page of Pentacles, as if you looked at the previous video, the Page of Pentacles in a work situation is an order from a nice benefactor, a large order. A Page of Pentacles is communication of definitely wanting to see you again. But it isn't cozy, is it? In a romantic spread, there's no hearts and flowers. There's no watery cups. There's no cards of romance. There's a practicality here. Now, outside of a romance spread, Judgment, Two of Swords, Page of Pentacles. Now, what this starts to look like is a work spread. Is somebody looking for work? Do they have two offers? It would basically say, take the one with more money, because neither of them are going to be particularly emotionally satisfying. And I say that because the Page of Pentacles is of practical, earthy terms. Accomplishment, forward movement. The symbology used here of the sculptor is interesting, and very non-traditional, okay? But because pentacles are cards of work and accomplishment, it does suggest that forward movement happens. And also the fact that we're dealing with a statue here in marble and a talented artist. It does suggest, if you're going for an interpretive, take on these cards and using the symbology of a card itself, pay attention when choosing between two things for the one that actually uses your talents. That's two ways to go. This is a very tricky threesome. A very tricky threesome. No easy symbology here. I would be the type to pull some extra cards just for some clarification. Like, what do we need? So you can pull an extra card if you want. There's no rules. You do you, pudding cake. Let's pull one, see what happens. Two of Wands. Wow. So, Two of Wands is someone who's planning ahead, but also someone about to go on stage and making a choice between two. Let's make a deal, right? The two doors for let's make a deal. Again, themes of two and making a choice. Wow. Very challenging. Very challenging. If this were a spread, I'd be like, wow, you really are having a hard time choosing. You're going to have to take a really close look at what you value more. Is it money or your talents being used? Because I'm not sure if it's both. I'm not sure if it's both. And I would probably do a larger spread for that one. Okay. So let's try another trio. King of Swords. See, this is a great King of Swords. I mean, I love the King of Swords because I love Astarion, and he's kind of the King of Swords. Mixed with the Knight of Cups somehow. It depends on what you do with your particular Astarion. All right. So the King of Swords is this combination is kind of cruel. We've got kind of an Idi Amin looking character, and if you know who Idi Amin is, not good. And then the inner box shows a small heart, a heart much smaller than required. And that's because the King of Swords is all intellect and no heart. The idea that the King of Swords is emotionally unavailable. Smart, but emotionally unavailable. I don't know if I agree with the symbology of this because it's intellect, and a soldier is, well, valued for things other than intellect. Mostly, I think it's trying to depict someone very strong and someone emotionally unavailable. So, if somebody was reading about a specific person, that might be their person, or it might be how they feel, how they're being treated. King of Cups. All right, we're going to need clarifiers for this. The King of Cups, the way this is depicted, is someone you can trust to be competent in all weather. This is a charming depiction of the King of Cups because it suggests that Even when it's absolute crappy crap, they find a way to find the sunny skies. They find a way to make it okay. They find a way to get it better. Boy, if somebody were looking for love and it would suggest that you have two suitors very, very different from each other. Wheel of Fortune. This is a fabulous Wheel of Fortune because we have the gods of fortune, the traditional symbols on a traditional card has a sphinx and all of these symbols and animals and angels and griffins and lions and bulls and anibuses, and it's very cool, very, very slick. And the wheel here says tarot, and I love that as well as traditional gambling, because luck is on your side in the Wheel of Fortune. It also is, what goes up must come down, and this too shall pass. This is an interesting trio. All right, the cards are playing Stump the Reader today. My, trial by fire for all our Tarot 101 students. We would want context cards for this. I tend to pull cards of context and clarification for chord cards when they're in a place that's about circumstance. If you're looking for people, they're people. If you're looking for an experience, they're people. And so you'll want to pull additional cards to get a little context. But what this says just intuitively is, well, if you're dating, your cup runneth over. You're going to have more than one suitor, and both of them want to change your life. That's true. But how they're going to change your life, whether it's luxury or emotional satisfaction and, hot monkey lover stuff, that's up to you. That depends on what you need. What do we need to know about this King of Swords? The Tower. Wow. Radically change your life. Radically change your life. What do we need to know about this King of Cups? Oh, he's got hidden wealth up his sleeve. Right there. Knight of Pentacles. So even though he comes across as a lover, there's more to him than meets the eye. And boy, if I were reading for somebody, I would say, I know who to choose. I know who to focus on. That's my values. Okay. Let's pull 3 more cards and we'll end this lesson. The Hierophant, the Pope. And see, we have kind of a priest and a priest. The Hierophant is a card of traditional values. It's also a card of marriage. Somebody might be thinking about getting married or joining an order. The Emperor. This is a fun Emperor card because it shows, who he thinks he is and who he is. The Emperor, his darkest side, is a bit of bluster. Fake it till you make it. A bit of masculine energy run amok. And so, if you're looking for a provider and a protector, if you're looking for an old school husband who takes real serious care of you, brings home the bacon, and this is not a criticism. I'm just saying, well, we need that third card, and then I'll know if it's a criticism or not. But these 2 cards combined, yeah, if you're a traditionalist, this guy's pretty dreamy, for sure. But don't do it. 10 of Swords is an absolute ending. An absolute ending. In a traditional 10 of Swords, it's a man lying on a beach with 10 swords in his back and the dawn behind him. Now, this shows a false friend. False friends, treating someone, stabbing people in the back. Somebody looking like they're having a good time, but are actually suffering. And that is a context for the 10 of Swords. It can mean betrayal. It can mean betrayal, for sure. I tend to take a pretty sunny viewpoint of the Ten of Swords, even though it looks so grim, because there's always a dawn behind the Ten of Swords, and it always means a new beginning. So it can mean just an absolute ending, nothing nebulous. There's all the closure you need. Do it to it. But if this showed up if these three showed up in a spread, and somebody was asking about a certain man, I would say, you need to dope right out of that. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. There's something better for you on the other side. This will not go well for you. Don't do it. All right. There you go. Your first lesson in spreads. Now you can try putting 3 cards together for yourself and seeing what you see. Here's something I've really learned that's important with regards to reading tarot. Sometimes I'll get a story in my head while I'm reading and I'll start talking and I'll think, you are talking out your ass. What are you saying? Shut up. Oh my God. And it always turns out to be exactly right. It turns out to be the thing. So trust your gut. If something seems this, but you feel something else entirely, trust your gut. I would, unless it's, steered you horribly wrong in the past. All right. I hope you found this helpful. We'll read about other spreads, a favorite 5-card spread of mine, and eventually get to the Celtic Cross. And let me know what you would like to learn. Leave a comment below and let me know. Please. Do you want to know how to combine cards? Do you want more lessons on combining cards? Do you want lessons on reading reverse cards? I generally don't read reverse cards. I think the tarot is very balanced, positive and negative. And reversed cards don't necessarily make the negative positive, but they often make the positive negative, so it biases towards the dark. If something shows up upside down and it's relevant, I'll pay attention to it, because it's usually just a lesser version of something. That's up to you. But anyway, let me know. Do you want to know about reading reverse cards? Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.